game of the day, Commanders-Eagles. I mean, tons of highlights, tons of plays. It was unreal, really fun to watch. Tale of, I don't know, 2 halves, 2 games, or maybe a quarter and a half, and then the 2.5 of the game. But I think that's where we start, right? I mean, there is a part of me, I don't want to disrespect the Washington Commanders or anything like that. I don't know if I feel like they would win the game if Jalen Hurts was playing. It was still incredible what they did today, especially getting off the start they did, where we were sitting there watching Philadelphia physically abuse them, kind of have their way with them in every which manner you'd want, and yet they hung in there and kind of just slowly started to get momentum on the offensive side of the ball, and then it was like at the end of the game, the Eagles couldn't stop them at all.
And that's what stuck out, because at one point in the game, we were like, Philly's hitting today.
Yeah.
Like, they're running, they're hitting.
Right.
And I remember us sitting there, and I don't remember the other game, but we're like, man, it seems like there's certain teams that are flying around
the Lions,
right
Bears was
and
the other one.
Yes.
We were looking at going, man, they came to play today.
Yes, and we're like, the other team's going to, like, Washington's going to get ran off the field
it felt
in
that
a
way.
minute.
Right.
And, again, whenever Saquon Barkley, the guy you know you have to stop, he has over 100 yards in the first quarter, I'm sitting here like, man, he might finish with 250 yards again in a game. But like you said, credit to Washington. I know Jalen Hurts going down was a huge part for Philadelphia, and not just the quarterback play, but I think the element and how the team operates.
That's
He's the
exactly
leader,
it.
the different things he can do.
Right.
You lose that.
Right.
But Washington didn't blink. Like, they just kept playing. Jayden Daniels started making some plays. It's not like, yes, they were getting dominated a little bit, and I thought Philly was more aggressive.
Yeah.
But the turnovers early in the game was
that
the difference.
also hurt in Washington, right?
That was killing them,
right.
and they stopped turning the ball over, and they let some magic happen with Jayden Daniels. And next thing you know, we're sitting there like, oh, we might have a game. Oh, we have a game. And they showed up.
They put the Eagles in a bind on the defensive side of the ball. I mean, real quick. I mean, start the game. The Commanders get stopped at 4th and 1 on the midfield. Brian Robinson fumbles. I believe Jalen Carter strip sacked him. He fumbled again. It's odd for a team like the Philadelphia Eagles, as good as they have been, to lose a game where they won the turnover battle 5-2 and still lost. That's rare. You see that team of quality do that, right?
And a lot of good teams don't usually do that.
Exactly right. And Jayden Daniels continues to amaze. I think, like you kind of hit it, and I echo those sentiments. It's the offense struggled at first. They took a little while to figure out what they wanted to do. They couldn't run the ball. They were trying to run it and be balanced early on. They realized they had to throw the ball every play. I think the thing that you're amazed by, I'm amazed by with Jayden Daniels, he threw 2 interceptions today, okay, and the first one he overthrew a crosser. The second one he tried to fit into a tight window. And again, this is the Eagles defense. They pressure you. There's tight coverage. You're going to have to throw some balls into some tight windows. But just it's hard to really think you're watching a rookie at times with all the decisions and the throws he makes at the right times. And then we talk so much about the gotta-have-it moments. The 3rd downs, the 4th downs, all said together, 3rd and 4th down. They're 9 for 16 on the day. And again, against a team like the Eagles, that only speaks to the freaking quarterback and what he does. The throws, the runs, the buying of time, the throws on the run. And then here's the other thing I'm amazed by with him too. He's can run like a receiver, yet I never feel like he's looking to run.
There's no panic.
There's no panic. He is like, I'm going to sit here and throw the ball and make the right read and make the right throw. Okay, wait, it's not there. Let me go to the next one. I'm still going to sit here and do this. No, it's not there. Okay, now there's people around me. Now I'll start to move.
Yep.
And that's what makes him so dangerous, I think, because his eyes stay downfield. Defenders see that. They back off. And then he has room to run after he does that, and he's tough to tackle in space.
And that's what's cool about this young player from the standpoint of a few weeks ago we were like, oh, man, maybe Bo Nix is getting back in this offensive rookie of the year because they've struggled now. Like they figured them out. All right, man, they know what they're going to do offensively. They don't motion enough. They don't put Terry McLaurin. And sometimes people forget coaches can have these plans, but do you have the guys who can execute it? Can you go to your rookie quarterback and say, hey, I know we've been doing things this way and it's brought us a lot of success, but now we have to kind of pivot. We have to do this. And Jayden Daniels hasn't budged on any of that.
Right.
Like, since the bye week in week 14 and even the week before, they had more motions.
Yeah.
They moved Terry McLaurin around a little bit more.
Right.
And we've seen that pay off against New Orleans. We saw it pay off again today against the Philadelphia Eagles. So a ton of credit goes to this young guy of being multiple, doing different things, and not sticking to this is my thing.
Right.
I have to do it every single
way.
week.
Right.
He knows multiple ways to win football games, and I say that all the time. We don't always talk about it. I do. I think defense has to go play good ball offense. They're separate. But there's something to it when you have a guy on the other side that you know, hey, he's a guy.
It permeates to the team.
You give 100 yards up on the ground in the first quarter, some teams are like, man,
it's
we're
over.
For a
we're
long
out.
One today.
Yeah, we're out of here.
Washington kept fighting. Louisville comes away with a big interception. Like, that is what I'm talking about for a team when you look on the across the ball and you say, hey, if we just keep getting him the ball, and we just get him the ball one more time, two more times, he'll get us a victory. He throws the interception. Game's kind of over, right? Blankenship gets the interception. That Washington defense goes out there and gets a stop. And that stop, and I know it wasn't really from him. It was Devontae Smith drops the ball.
Yeah.
But
either way, they got a stop's a
come
stop.
up with a stop.
Right.
And he goes and wins. And that builds your team up from the standpoint of our guy will go win a game in a 2-minute drill. We believe in that.
I haven't been around like a ton of quarterbacks like that in my life, but I would imagine that's what you felt like with Brady. Just keep the game close, guys, and then he'll make it really close at the end, and maybe we'll pull it off.
Even if it's ugly at one point,
right.
Just keep fighting, and we'll look up. I.e., obviously, Super Bowl 51.
Yeah.
But there were other games I played in where we were down, and next thing you know, you look up, it's 2 minutes left in the fourth quarter, and we just got to stop, and the offense is about to take the field, and we're like,
yep, here we go. We got it right where we want it. Right where we want it. Yeah, that's Jayden Daniels. Other unspoken things that are impressive to me about Washington, their pass protection. We got to a point today, and I know there was a few injuries on the defensive line. The Sweat got hurt with the Eagles. Jordan Davis came out for a minute. But we got to a point in the game today where I was like, man, Philly's front four can't get there. Like, you got to change. You got to think of something else. And then the other thing I kind of surprised me, too, and a lot of big moments today, I never seemed like Philly spied him at all. They tried to play zones and keep eyes on him, but there was never there's a plan today. We're going to do this and have one guy here waiting for him.
The one big play where there was only Jalen Carter there with like 10 yards.
Yeah, and he broke his ankle. It's like it's impossible
to make for anybody, let alone a defensive tackle.
Exactly right. I think, so we were impressed by them. Again, what they did, made some plays and some big moments on the defensive side of the ball. I'm not trying to be a Washington hater. I believe in them and all of that. But, yeah, I am going to be the person that's going to say I don't think they win the game if Jalen Hurts is in there. Jalen Hurts, him being in there, and we talk about the Eagles a lot, and I'm just going to throw this out there to the audience listening and everything. When you're simple, and everybody listens to Chris Simms Unbuttoned, like we talk about the Eagles. They don't do a lot. It's a simple formula. They know how to tie it all together and kind of stress you that way with their talent and their scheme that way. But he's such a part of that simple formula. And when you're going to be simple, the quarterback runs, the design runs, the RPOs, the read option off the edge, that opens up the run game. It gets defenses to come in and play more aggressive run-style defenses. And then we see Jalen Hurts throw go routes to Devontae Smith and A.J. Brown today. And with Kenny Pickett in there, Washington, it felt like we don't have to go all in on stopping the run here. He's not going to run it. If they're in a run formation, it's just worry about Saquon. Pickett's not going to keep it. There's not going to be a quarterback power. And that, to me, is where it changes Philly dramatically, let alone, like you said, at halftime. The scrambling and all of that Jalen Hurts does on third down. There's 4 or 5 plays of those every game where you go,
Kellen Moore's not drawing that up.
They had them, and they got out of it, and now they're driving. Right, exactly right.
And I agree with you, and I think one of the things that stuck out to me is, like, this guy is such a part of what they do day in and day out. So the plays he can make, how you're going to go. Like, I remember I sat down with A.J. Brown in Philly, and we looked at some still shots, and there's a shot where Jalen Hurts is in the pocket, and somebody in the giant, he's running down the middle of his face and you look up, it was an 18-yard game.
Yeah, right.
Because he can make those plays.
Right.
But I will say this, Kenny Pickett comes in, and as soon as Jalen Hurts goes out, to me the thing is for the Philly offense is, hey, Saquon, you got to make every close play.
Right.
Hey, Devontae, you got to make every close play. AJ, you're our 3 guys. When we go to you, it might not be perfect. And there were 3 plays down the end of the stretch of that game where A.J. Brown has a chance. The ball's a little behind him. He doesn't catch it clean.
Right, the little sprint right option into the flat. Yep. Right, it was a little late, but he threw it behind him. But you're still, it's A.J. Brown, your $30 million wide receiver.
Exactly.
Catch it. Right.
Same thing with Saquon Barkley. He gets a little wheel route, little behind, had a chance to bring it in.
Right, Bobby Wagner knocked it out while he was going to the ground. Right.
And then obviously the Devontae Smith drop at the end of the game on third down. So to me, when you lose a Jalen Hurts, it puts the pressure on the other guys. Like, they have to step. They have to help the backup quarterback come in, and they have to make plays, because if Devontae Smith just catches that ball, what are we talking about right now? man, Kenny Pickett does a good job coming in as a backup quarterback. This guy, they said he
ran the offense, made a few big plays.
Couldn't play in Pittsburgh. Look at him now. Comes in with these weapons, handles what he does. And when you don't do that, you come away. But again, I will keep saying this about Philadelphia.
Right.
You're okay.
Yes, exactly.
Get Jalen Hurts healthy.
Right.
I don't care where you have to play. You show that you can win. They just have to go play their game, keep everybody healthy, and they'll be okay.
We still believe they're one of the most talented, most complete teams in football. Division rival, big game, and you lose your quarterback. And to your point with you said of Jayden Daniels and what he makes the rest of the team believe, Jalen Hurts does that for the Eagles too. It's very similar that way. With that win, Washington, I mean, they're sitting pretty as far as the playoffs are concerned. That was big today. It basically gives them a two-game lead on teams like Seattle, Atlanta. They play Atlanta head up next week. But, man, it seems like it's going to take a lot to get Washington out of the playoffs. They're going to be in somehow, some way. We'll see where that goes. Game of the day.
We got that game next week.
Yeah, it'll be a good game. It'll be good. Penix, Jayden Daniels, and – I heard you say, like, Penix will be motivated because he's going to go, man, I'm sick of hearing about Jayden Daniels. I want to show everybody else what I got here. All right. Kenny Pickett getting some x-rays on his ribs. We'll see where he's there. Hurts likely in concussion protocol. Hopefully he's okay. And Kenny Pickett, I do know, told Florio he thinks he's okay, but they got to go through this stuff and check stuff and do all of that. All right, so that's it. Eagles lose. What would they have? 11 in a row they had won. Lose for the first time since September. Washington Commanders sitting pretty. Yo, homies, thanks for watching. Yeah, it's time. The NFL season is here on Chris Simms Unbuttoned.
You can hit subscribe to get all the weekly picks, plus our Sunday recaps as the games are happening.
Oh, you know it. Nobody does that better than us. Thanks again for watching. Remember to subscribe. Peace out. We'll see you next time on Unbuttoned.